Hello, everybody. Andrea Carvin here from Inner Sparks Rehab Gym and Spa, helping people who know there's more they can learn about their bodies and movement to restore and get back to fabulous movement, fabulous health, and avoid disability. So today is day 4 on a topic we're talking about how we create habits that stick. Day 1, we talked about motivation. This is like the house that Jack built. So we're all doing it. So motivation Mondays, and then truth-telling Tuesdays, which is where we think about what beliefs do we have about the new habit that we want to do. So if we're not sure we believe it, it's good to know that so you can find people who and circumstances that might help you align with that belief that you want to move into, because that's the way it is. That's how we learn. Before you could read, you didn't believe you could read necessarily, but you saw all these other people learning how to read, so there you go. All right, so we had Truth Telling Tuesday, and yesterday was Sponsorship Wednesday, and we talked about how you sponsor yourself, how it's good to get sponsorship from others. A doctor might sponsor you and say, you should think about learning to walk outside more, do this exercise a little more, and maybe go find yourself a therapist or a trainer or take a class that you've wanted to take. Maybe you need to work on moving in less stress, so you might take a different type of application. Regardless, new habits happen much easier when we have sponsorship that goes along with it, and sponsor ourselves as well, giving ourselves rewards. And that's what brings me into what we're going to be talking about today, is how to not reinvent the wheel when we're developing a new habit, because that makes it that much harder. So, for example, let's say you decided that you wanted to, I'm trying to think of something easy. You wanted to learn how to ride a bicycle, and you've never ridden a bicycle before. Okay, so there's different ways you can learn how to ride a bicycle. One way that I taught my kids was to hold the seat and run with them, which was a very exhausting way for me, and it created confidence for them that I wasn't going to let the bike fall, but it didn't necessarily, until I let go, create the movement, the feeling, and the habit. Another way we can teach people how to ride a bicycle, particularly little ones, is when they're young, you don't put pedals on. So you just have them toddling around and balancing either way. And as they practice lifting their legs up and they get better and better at that, you start to see them just pedal, not even pedaling, but just kind of scooting down on a bicycle without pedals, with their legs in the air, balancing. So the transition from that type of bike to a bicycle with pedals hardly feels like anything to that child. And that's a little bit more what I'm talking about when I'm talking about habits that are easy, that we just keep building on little pieces. So that child who is just practicing and then falling this way, that way, this way, that way, and kind of learning where their balance point, those are just little tiny shifts. All right, so how do we do this in real time? And how do we do, let's say you have an intention. Let's say you might have a very stressful job, and you know you want to bring your stress levels down. And we know that you're exercising a few times a week, but you still want to learn to move so you're not feeling all this tension in your shoulders or in your stomach or wherever it is that you find that you feel tension. So we want to look at something that you do every day, okay? So it could be every day you go and get the mail from the mail place at your work, and this happens 5 days a week, all right? Or you get coffee, or you go to the bathroom, but you pick something, or emails that you do every day. So let's say you go and you get the mail every day, and that's your routine task as opposed to coffee or the bathroom. So what we can do is attach the new behavior to something that you already do, because we want to fall in love with the new behavior. Just like the little kid who's, riding the bike and kind of surfing around, they're like, whoa, this is pretty cool. They're falling in love with that feeling of balancing. So whatever your new habit is, we want to break it down to one very small step and then fall in love with that step. So an example I give a lot of my clients is, if you're going to go up and get the mail, okay, you can either choose to do the habit as soon as you get up, or you can choose to do it when you sit down. But how about if we take 3 deep breaths, putting your hand on your belly, and conscious breaths. So you choose how deep they are and just feel the natural flow of your body. Don't try to change it. Don't try to make it anything that it isn't. Just put your hands on your belly and have 3 to 5 deep breaths. What that starts to do is bring you into your body. It will create a relaxation response in your body. There's many little tricks that I talk about that we can do to create these relaxation responses. This is one that is very familiar to a lot of people, and that's why I talk about it. So if every time you go and you get the mail and you sit down and you take 3 deep breaths and you start to feel better and a little bit more relaxed, then that is going to reinforce your habit. And if you do that 5 times a week, okay, and you take 5 breaths, that's 25 repetitions of a relaxation drill where you've relaxed 25 times more than you had the week before. And then you add it together in the course of a month, and you have relaxed 100 times very easily in 30 seconds in a month. And that's how patterning starts. And once that becomes a ritual, then we can start to learn exactly how to build. So it's the habit we want to be falling in love with, not so much the end result of feeling less stressed. Okay? As in learning to balance for a child who's learning, or an adult who's learning how to ride a bike, you fall in love with the feeling of balancing, and then the end result makes an easier time learning to ride the bicycle. So we do have our long-term goals. It's not that we don't set those, but that's not where we want to focus, because it's those daily habits that we start to do and love every day that actually create the new habit that we're wanting to be talking about. All right, everybody, please feel free to put up your questions. Thank you so much for listening in and participating. I'd love to hear your thoughts, anything you would like some support on. Go ahead and send me a private message, or if you want, you can send something to Inner Sparks. And I look forward to talking to you tomorrow, where we're going to be summing all this up and finishing up with our 5 days of creating new habits. Take care. Have a fabulous day. Bye-bye, everybody.